Islam. And our hopes with the interview is for you to get a better understanding why Islam is the fastest growing religion on earth. So, Brother Dawood, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Now, Brother Dawood, for the people watching, I guess the curiosity has always been why people are converting to Islam. And, you know, being your background, I thought it would be fascinating for them to learn a little bit more about your conversion. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is David Alexander, I'm 29 years old. I come from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. I'm Aboriginal Canadian in Lakota Cree. I basically grew up in a little place called Moose Jaw and went through a lot of problems as Aboriginal families do go through: alcoholism, drugs, right from the day I was born. My mom drank constantly, even throughout my pregnancy till I was born, and throughout the 5 years that I lived with my mom and dad.
Now, I don't want to interrupt, but I want people to understand. Now, the average Canadian who's let's say, not practicing any faith, they think that the legal drinking age is at 18. I mean, I went through high school, and I know that sometimes that's not the case. But let them really understand where you're coming from. Like, at what age were you starting to do drugs and drink?
For me, drinking started at 9 on my birthday. It's very common for children, even as young as 5 or 6, to start drinking in Aboriginal homes.
Wow, that's amazing. So continue.
So basically, that's where we come from. I mean, it's Saskatchewan, Manitoba, where the major populations are of Native people. It's very common for families to drink with their children. It's, you know, they don't get mad at you. I remember being 4 or 5 and sneaking the odd name beer, and, you know, my mom was like, "Oh, okay." It was like no problem in their eyes, and it's because of the accustomed to alcoholism that's happened to their people become used to having it around, and no help or no services to support them or guide them elsewhere.
Did you have any religions growing up?
My father was a practicing Catholic, but it wasn't really like enforced or anything like that. Not really. I mean, in Aboriginal terms, we believe in a one Creator. We believe in the aspects of the Creator and that He's something, but we do a lot of singing or dancing or chatting towards, you know, animals or stories involving animals, and, you know, it's nothing really religious, but it's different because you feel that it's right at the time, and then you realize when you become when I became Muslim that it's not the proper way to appreciate, you know, the Creator, Allah.
So, I mean, coming from where you came from, how does a person from an Aboriginal background take an interest in Islam?
Well, when I was 16, I looked at Christianity, and I was reading the Bible. I was actually taking it really good. I cut down my drinking. I wasn't drinking as much, and I was going to a church. And whenever I read the book I was reading, I didn't feel it connected as if that was the true message. That was, you know, the first things I was taught were the first 2 commandments. One, I shall worship one God and only one God. The second, I should not make idols of my God. But every Sunday I was going to school, and we were making idols of Jesus, of Mary, and the cross, and it just didn't suit me. So when I got stable at about 21 years of age, I started to research and learn what Islam was, and continued from there, and just wanted to learn and continue to learn. But there was so much of a lack of resources for wanting to learn. And when I got my first Quran, when I was about 24, I started to say, wow, this does not seem like it's man-made.
So what closed the deal for you? What was exactly the point where you said, you know what, I believe Islam is right for me, and I would like to become a Muslim? At what point in your life did that, you know, happen to you?
In brief, it was basically when I was at an all-time low with my addictions. I suffered from alcoholism for basically 20 years, from age 9 till 29. And nobody drinks that much, nobody does drugs, and not wonder, well, why is God allowing this to happen? Why is this happening to me? So I really started just listening to lectures, and when I listened to a Pacific lecture. It was talking about, what is the purpose of life? I looked at myself and I said, well, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. I'm a single father and I'm an alcoholic. Is that my purpose of life? So I went and I grabbed the Quran and I started reading it. And I started learning different lectures and books. I was reading Islamic books. And what really closed the deal was the fact that what I was reading seemed like there was no lie to it. It was like a humble experience just to learn. And the message you were learning was like truth. It was words you can't even describe. And I knew that that's what I really wanted. But I did not know where to go to get the help to be able to learn about Islam properly. Because I would go to a couple of mosques, here's the Quran, have a good day. Mm-hmm. Here's the Quran, give us a call. You call, we'll call you back.
So, I guess I was indirectly a part of it, but what made you decide to give us a call? For the viewers listening, I guess, so you can be informed, we have a 1-800 number, 1-877-QURAN for you, where anybody, even watching the show now, is curious about Islam, they can call us, and we'll get back to you and try to either send you some material or answer the questions you have. But, that's where it started for you, right?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I Googled Convert to Islam Toronto, Turn to Islam Toronto, and nothing really popped up over a couple of days. And on May 5th, I Googled it and your website popped up. To me it was by the grace of Allah that was there. Mm-hmm. I called you up. I remember speaking to another employee. He said, I'll get you the president. I'm like, ooh, I'm talking to the president. And I said to you, but I drink. I'm an alcoholic. I never wanted to be a hypocrite. If I was going to become Muslim, mm-hmm. I did not want to drink and be an alcoholic. I wanted to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was being able to talk to you and say, this is who I am. I was very open to you. I said, I'm an alcoholic. I can't be a Muslim. Muslims don't drink. Mm-hmm. And you said, you take a shahada and we'll talk. We'll talk tomorrow. And I said, okay. And so I took my shahada, alhamdulillah. And it was basically an experience that I don't even know how to describe. I literally took the alcohol that I left over in my house. I dumped it all out. I went down and prayed. And it was like I was free. I was literally free from that lifestyle that I lived, that was encrypted into my mind, that you're a native, you're an alcoholic, these are the things that you are. And, it was like just a freedom that I've never experienced before.
Mm-hmm. So at that point, I remember meeting you for the first time, and I actually went to your apartment and I saw there were cases of beer. There must have been at least 24 packs of beer in your closet.
There was 9 to be exact, and I told you that, that's just a week's supply.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, since you accepted Islam, what has happened to you? You've been Muslim now for how long?
I believe it's been 8 months.
8 months. So, what has happened? How has your life changed in a positive or negative way?
Alhamdulillah, my whole life has changed. Mainly I'll just go into briefly about what you guys have done. In the beginning, you guys got me, you told me, okay, you should move into a more Islamic community. I was living in the Lakeshore area in Toronto here, and it's got lots of alcoholism. You got about 12 or 13 bars, beer stores, liquor stores. If you're trying to change, you don't stay in the area where it's all being influenced. So you encouraged me to move, and I remember the whole month going back and forth, sometimes twice a day, just so I could be in an Islamic community in an area. And I did that for a whole month, and I moved into the area. You guys helped me do that. And basically from there, my life has changed. Since May 5th, I've never taken a drink. I've never missed a call to prayer. Alhamdulillah, my child is Islamically growing with great knowledge. I'm now married. Things have changed so much. It's like it's unbelievable, because just 8 months ago, I had children's service involved. They knew of my alcoholism addiction. They were working with me, but it wasn't like I wasn't receiving the message. And to imagine within 8 months, all that alcoholism, the whole lifestyle